This is the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast, an on-demand talk radio show that covers internet marketing best practices for chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick McNamara. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 82 of the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick McNamara, and today we're talking about chiropractic website templates, what they actually are under the hood, why they create a performance ceiling no amount of SEO work can break through, and what that difference costs a practice over time. Before we get into it, I want to mention that I've covered the broader question of what makes a chiropractic website actually rank in a previous episode. I'll link to that in the show notes. But today I want to get specific about the template problem because I think a lot of chiropractors are paying for marketing every month and not fully understanding why they're not seeing the results that investment should produce. And in many cases, the website is exactly where the money is leaking. Let's start with what a template actually is, because there's some confusion out there about this. When you sign up with a chiropractic template platform, what you're getting is a pre-built design system that's been deployed for hundreds or thousands of other practices. Your logo goes in, your colors go in, your photos go in, but the structural layer, the page architecture, the crawl structure, the hosting environment, the schema configuration, that doesn't change. Every practice on that platform is running on the same underlying foundation. And that shared foundation is exactly where the problems start. Template platforms are built to scale across a large number of clients efficiently. That's not a criticism, it's just what they are. But the trade-off for that efficiency is that the technical decisions that drive search performance get made once, generically, for everyone. The platform can't accommodate the specific hosting configurations, schema implementations, and content hierarchies that a high-performing site requires, because those things vary practice by practice and can't be templated. The result is that everyone's site looks similar and performs similarly, which is to say, moderately across the board. Now let me get into the specific ways that ceiling shows up, because I want chiropractors to be able to recognize exactly what's happening on their own site. The first is Core Web Vitals. Page speed and Core Web Vitals scores are determined by how a site was built, the theme architecture, the JavaScript handling, the image loading system, the server environment. On a template platform, those decisions were made once and can't be changed for an individual practice. If the platform is slow, your site is slow, and there is nothing you can do about it from inside the platform, you're competing against faster custom-built sites for every ranking position, and you're losing on that signal regardless of how good your content is. The second is schema markup. And this one is important if you've been paying attention to how AI search works. The schema requirements for a competitive chiropractic website include medical business, local business, person service, FAQ page, and breadcrumb list. And those have to be implemented at the page level, specific to each page's content. Template platforms typically apply a basic schema type site-wide, often just local business, with no mechanism for condition-specific service schema or doctor-level person schema with full credential detail. So what you end up with is a site that search engines and AI platforms can identify as a local business, but can't understand as an authoritative source for the specific conditions you treat. If you're wondering why you're not getting mentioned in AI overviews or getting recommended when someone asks an AI assistant for a chiropractor who treats neuropathy, schema is a big part of that answer. The third is content architecture. Templates are built to work for any chiropractic practice, which means they're built for none in particular. A practice focused on neuropathy needs a content architecture built around that condition, a dedicated page, condition-specific internal links, schema connecting that page to neuropathy as a primary service, supporting blog content, building topical depth. A template gives every practice the same generic service page structure, regardless of what they actually focus on. Generic architecture produces generic rankings, which is the same as saying it produces no rankings for the specific conditions you're actually trying to rank for. Now, let me connect this to the marketing investment question, because I think this is where a lot of practices feel the frustration most acutely. If you're paying for SEO work like content creation, citation management, and link building, the results of that investment are bounded by what the website's technical foundation can support. A site that can't be fully indexed, that's missing schema, that has slow performance scores, will underperform relative to the SEO work being done on it every single month, no matter how good that work is. You can optimize within the ceiling, but you cannot raise it. Same is true for paid traffic. If you're running Google ads or Facebook ads and driving people to a template site with generic condition pages and no condition-specific landing pages, those visitors are converting at a fraction of what they'd convert at on a properly built site. The ad targeting can be perfect, the offer can be strong, but the website is where the money leaks. This is why I always say that chiropractic SEO has to start with the website. Optimization layered on top of a structurally limited site compounds the limitation, not the results. And it's why practices that move off a template and onto a properly built custom site frequently see better performance from their existing marketing investment almost immediately. Not because anything changed in the marketing, but because the foundation stopped working against them. I want to spend a minute on the identity issue too, because this one doesn't get enough attention. When a practice's website looks like every other chiropractic website in the template library, there's no visual reason for a prospective patient to choose it over a competitor. And if a competitor's site also came from the same template, the patient is looking at two sites that are structurally identical with different logos on them. At that point, the decision comes down to reviews, proximity, and who called them back first. The website isn't doing any of the differentiation work it should be doing. Custom design creates a visual identity that belongs to that practice. The typography, the color system, the photography direction, the layout decisions are all made for one practice, with that practice's patients and market in mind. A site that doesn't look like a competitor's site because it was never started from the same file as a competitor's site. So, when does a template make sense? I'll be direct about this. A practice that genuinely has no competition and no intention of investing in search, organic or paid, can probably get by with a template. A practice that needs something up immediately while a proper build is underway has a reasonable case for a temporary solution. But for any practice in a competitive market, any practice paying for SEO or paid ads, any practice that's been told by their marketing company that the website is limiting their results, a template is not a cost-saving decision. It's a cost-compounding one. The upfront investment in a custom build is higher, but what the template is costing in suppressed rankings, in poor conversion on paid traffic, and in the eventual rebuild, you'll have to do anyway. That almost always adds up to more than building correctly the first time. Now, when it comes to a proper custom build for a chiropractic practice, this is exactly what I've been building through chiropractic marketing websites since 2012. Every site on the CMW platform is custom designed for one practice. No templates, no shared themes, no shared infrastructure. Technical SEO is built into the site at build time. Core web vitals tested before launch, complete schema markup at the code level, a content architecture built around the practice's actual clinical focus, lead capture integrated into the design, and full alignment with Google Business Profile. And because it's a managed platform, the same team that built the site maintains it every month going forward. Not a handoff, not a support ticket queue. One thing I want to be clear about, CMW works with one practice per market. That's not a sales tactic. It's how the platform is built. When a practice's market is accepted, the strategy, the content architecture, and the competitive positioning are built for that practice specifically, and we don't replicate it for a competing practice down the street. Which means if your market is still available, that's a conversation worth having now rather than after a competitor takes it. If your website is currently on a template and you're starting to see the ceiling, if your SEO investment isn't producing what it should, if your paid traffic isn't converting, if competitors who used to be below you in the rankings have pulled ahead, go to chiropracticmarketingwebsites.com and see if your market is available. And if you're at the stage where the website is going to get built right and you want to put the full search everywhere optimization strategy to work on top of it, DCRank is where that happens. Visit DCRank.com to learn more. All right, that wraps things up for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast. Before you go, remember to subscribe to my podcast on your favorite platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Audible, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, or others. I've got you covered. If you need to see a full list of supported platforms, simply visit chiropracticmarketingpodcast.com. Last but certainly not least, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews not only help build awareness of what I'm talking about, but also give me a good indication of how I'm doing. Be nice, be fair, but definitely be honest. I would greatly appreciate it, and so will future listeners. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.